My name is Shelby, and at the beginning of the semester, I chose the topic teen pregnancy. I chose the target population as teenagers ages 15 to 17. I have created a lesson plan today titled Teen Pregnancy in America Today, and this is my PowerPoint. I selected 3 learning objectives that I would like for each student to grasp by the end of this lesson. The first learning objective is for students to be able to interpret how prevalent teen pregnancy is in America today. For example, I would like them to know if the teen pregnancy rates are increasing each year, if they are declining each year, that sort of thing. Following the presentation, I would also like for students to understand that teen pregnancy is preventable. The third learning objective is, upon request, students will be able to identify one way that teen pregnancy would affect them personally if they were to become pregnant or their partner was. The next thing we will do is a question and answer / icebreaker activity. This activity will take about 10 minutes, and I will use a set of predetermined questions that I have already prepared, and I will read the questions aloud, and the students will simply raise their hand if they are saying yes or they are agreeing to the statements. Some of the questions or statements that I would use are: raise your hand if you are sexually active. Raise your hand if you use condoms every single time you have sex. Raise your hand if you are on birth control. Raise your hand if your parents know you're sexually active. Raise your hand if you have had more than once you've had unprotected sex. These sort of questions will break the ice and get us into the topic, and students will have an idea of what today's topic will be about, as well as it gives me an opportunity to see the choices that they are making already and how much they are going to participate as well. That will be a good determiner of that. And that lesson or that activity will take about 10 minutes, like I said. Then we will go into the introduction. My introduction is just a question. It is, do you know how many teenagers become parents every single year? Some students have no idea how many people become pregnant each year in high school because maybe it's not something that's happened at their school or they don't know anyone. So this gives me an idea to see kind of what they understand already. Students can guess or say or give me an idea of how many they think, and then by the end they will know how many actually do become pregnant each year. Next will be the main portion of today's lesson, which is the lecture. The lecture will be about the prevalence of teen pregnancy. We will discuss teen pregnancy in the United States as far as which states have the highest pregnancy rates, which states have the lowest pregnancy rates, which ethnicities have the highest pregnancy rates, and then how do the United States pregnancy rates look compared to other countries such as France, Canada, Japan, that sort of thing. And then also just some basic statistics about teen parents and how often they have second children, how often they have to go on welfare, those sort of things. And this is one of my informational slides that has those basic statistics and facts that will go along with the lecture. These will just sort of be points, and for the students, this is like a nice slide of hard facts for the students to understand how prevalent it is today. So, and the lecture portion will take about 35 minutes, so that will be the main portion of the lesson. Next, my next slide says one important thing to remember, because this is learning objective number 2. Learning objective number 2 was for students to understand that teen pregnancy is preventable. So the important thing that I want students to remember is that it is 100% preventable. The choices that you make to use condoms, to go on birth control, to remain abstinent, those will determine if you become pregnant in high school, because it just takes one time of having sex unprotected to make a baby. And so that is one of the most important things I want students to take out of this lesson, is that it is preventable, and that by making good decisions you will prevent pregnancy. The next slide is another informational slide that just goes over some facts about condoms so that students see how important they are. Some statistics such as that they're 98% effective if you are using them properly. So this is just an informational slide for students to see the importance of condoms, because we want them to not become parents in high school. The next slide addresses the multiple intelligences. Between my two activities, I have been able to meet over half of the multiple intelligences. The icebreaker and the Q&A activity will address the linguistic learners, the rhythmic learners, as well as the interpersonal learners. And then the lecture portion will address the linguistic learners as well as the visual spatial learners. At the end of the lesson, I would ask students if they have any questions. Some students may have questions such as, where could they get condoms, because their parents, they would not want to ask their parents directly or to buy them. They might ask questions like, are they required to drop out of school if they were to become pregnant? The last couple minutes of class will be used to ask those questions, and I will also allow students to approach me after class if they're uncomfortable asking their questions out loud, because I know that this is a sensitive topic. My last page is my references, and that's it.